I don't know if you know about this, guys, but there's this thing out there. It's called the internet, all right? And it's not going away. In fact, the funny thing is, a lot of people believe me to be a real sort of techie person, and I guess I am now, but the truth is, I was not quite technophobic, but I wasn't far off. I was very resistant to doing a lot of the internet marketing strategies that I'm such a big advocate for today. And I figured out that if I don't embrace the change, then it's going to be painful. It's going to be extremely painful. So if you're not leveraging these strategies to use online methods to gather more leads and get more business, you're going to struggle. Because more and more money is being spent online. Online spending, despite anything that might be going on in the market, and even if you buy into this concept called the recession, even if you buy into that crap, it's more money. The trend for online spending is continuing to increase, regardless of everything else. So what that means then is that the other strategies are taking an even bigger hit than you might have realized. People are getting more and more comfortable with spending money online. So for example, show of hands, how many of you here have, well, let's start with an easy one. How many of you here have bought something on the internet? Show of hands. Good. Everybody in the room, pretty much. If you'd asked that question 10 years ago, it would have been significantly lower. If you'd asked the question, 15 years ago, it would have been the minority of people in the room. But let's take it a step further. A lot of people bought things using eBay or Amazon, something like that. Who here has bought something online that has cost more than £500? Show your hands. Good. Keep your hands nice and high. Look around the room, everybody. Keep your hand in the air if you've bought something online that's cost more than £1,000. Okay, still, look, a third of the audience. Keep your hand in the air if you bought something online that's cost more than, let's go for a big jump, £5,000. Okay, still a few hands in the air. Okay, and so that the people get not only are more and more people starting to spend online and become more savvy with the internet, but more and more people are also moving up in terms of their comfort with spending large amounts of money online. This is a very good thing. And the beauty of the internet is it gives you instant feedback. And it's also got a very, very, very low cost base, which means you can try stuff, you can test stuff for marginal amounts of money and still yield great rewards. Think about it this way. Remember when Peter was talking about direct mail and sending out 5,000 mailers to sell your products? That's a great strategy. Now, the only potential downside is the first time you do it, the first time you do anything, you're not always very good at it, are you? Because you don't have any experience, you don't have any references. So, of course, you want to go and model somebody that knows what they're doing in that area. However, you've still got to invest the capital to post out the mailing. You've still got to invest, thousands of pounds in the postage and getting the mailing done. Therefore, if it just costs you £1 per piece, if you're sending out 5,000 bits of mail, you're risking £5,000. So potentially, worst case scenario, how much money could you lose? £5,000. Whereas with the beauty of the internet, you can test a lot of traffic sources like Chad will be talking about later on, for example, is how to get traffic for free. It costs you nothing, and if you're trying to sell a product, you can actually don't even make the products until you sell it. You don't have to, again, you don't have to have a huge stockpile of hundreds of products sat in your garage. You can just wait till somebody buys a thing, see if somebody buys it, and then print the products or even record the products and post it out to them. How many agree with this concept? Show your hands. Good. So the reason why I'm sharing this is got to embrace change on the internet, and we're going to obviously help you guys with that as we go through the rest of the day. That's what a lot of the speakers are talking about. But let me ask you a question. How many of you here has a website? Show your hands. Good. Who here knows what the purpose of a website is? Okay, good. What's the purpose of, and actually, if you've heard me say it before, don't say. What is the purpose of a website? To get people to put their hands up, get somebody to take action. What else? What else is the purpose of a website? There is only one purpose of a website, and that's to make money, directly or indirectly. Okay? So you either want to sell them something, or you want to build a relationship with them by capturing their contact information. Okay, because even if you want to talk about branding and all that sort of stuff, great. Well, I'm not a big fan of branding versus direct response marketing, which we'll talk about in a moment. But even with the concept of branding, why would you want to brand your business effectively? What's the purpose of having a strong brand? Recognition. What does recognition do for you? Credibility. What will credibility do for you? Trust. What will trust do for you? Increase sales. So the only purpose of a website is direct or indirect selling of a product or a service. Does that make sense? So now that I've said that, I asked you how many had a website. It was the majority of the room. How many of you have got a website that directly makes you money? I.e., people, I could go to your website right now, sign up, and give you money. Show your hands. Look around the room. Okay? Now, take this as an opportunity. If you do not have, think about it this way, if you do not have a website that's selling 24/7, you know, your shop's closed. You can have the best product in the world. People want to buy what you've got, but your shop is closed. In fact, let's be honest for a second, because I expect as most of us, how many of you here, the only method you've got for people buying from you is if you speak to them directly and you persuade them to buy, give you a check, give you credit card details. So you are the person that actually makes the sale happen. That's your sole method for getting business. Show your hands. Go on, put your hands up nice and high. It's okay, it's okay. Good, thank you for your honesty. The rest of you are all lying bastards. No, seriously, if you're in that place, it means your business is closed. You know, you are closed for business whenever you're not doing that. And that is a very effective strategy for staying scraping along. And what you need is a website. Now, the trick for websites is not having something that's, you know, big and fancy. You don't want to build the next eBay. You don't need the next Amazon. Not unless you've got tens or hundreds of millions of pounds to invest in building and making that stuff happen. What you want is a direct response website. In fact, let me tell you a little side note. danbradbury.com was the first website that I ever got built for me, and it was also the one, and still is the one, that makes me the least amount of money. It was the first one I built, it cost me the most, and it makes me the least amount of money. The ones that make all the money are the direct response pages that normally look like this. They have a headline, they have a little bit of copy, and then they have a sign-up box at the bottom. How many of you have seen a website like this? How many, honestly, hate websites like this? Good. So do I, but it makes me rich. Okay? So, you know, I don't believe in fighting something that just works. Because you can fight it all you want and insist on having a pretty website as long as you're prepared for the consequences. And the bottom line is, direct response websites work. And what I mean by direct response is this. You're giving them one singular point of focus. You're not distracting them with loads of other pretty ideas. You're cutting straight down to business and saying, look, are you interested or are you not? So the first thing that you need is some kind of what's called a squeeze page. And what a squeeze page is, it's a single page. It's normally not more than equivalent of one page of A4 in something like Microsoft Word if you typed it out. And it literally just teases them and gives them some kind of free offer. Kind of like the free report Peter was talking about in the last session. It gives them just a sample of here's something that you need. If you're interested, give us your name and email address. Give me your contact information. And that's something every single person in this room needs, and you could get it built for negligible costs. Certainly not thousands of pounds, you know, hundreds, and in the low hundreds or less. Yeah? Because it's a simple site. Any decent web programmer could build this with their eyes closed. You know, we have a bit of a joke with Chad, who does all my web stuff, that he can knock out a website like this and get it live on the internet in less than 15 minutes. So it doesn't cost a significant amount of money.